The year is 1992, and Games Workshop has established itself as the primary company for tabletop wargaming, thanks also to a couple of collaborations with Milton Bradley that brought us Wargamer, two of the greatest tabletop games of all time, HeroQuest and StarQuest. But in that 1992, Games Workshop and Milton Bradley will join forces once more to bring us the third greatest masterpiece in the world of tabletop games, called Battle Masters. A fantasy tabletop game that managed to recreate a battle between two huge armies, but it was quick to set up and also really easy to play. And when I was a little kid, I would have done everything in my power to put my little hands onto that beautiful game and play with it. And my power back then was to ask my mom to buy it for me. To which she replied to shut up, go back to my room and study, because my grades were extremely bad. But guess what, Mom? Now I'm an adult and I can do whatever I want with my money, without having to hear nonsensical sentence like, how are you going to buy food without money and we have to pay taxes? So, guess what? I bought a copy of Battle Masters. And I want to unbox it here with you, so that we can all share together this beautiful retro experience of opening a box of Battle Masters. Now, granted, this is a pretty used and damaged box, but all the pieces are here inside, and I can't wait to open it and see what it means to be a 90s kid and receiving this box as a gift. But before I open this box, I suggest you go down in the description, because I left a link in which you can check out a video of Jordan Sorcery in which he talks about the story of Battle Masters, which is a pretty interesting and cool video that I really suggest you go check it out after you watch this one. So my friends, without further ado, let's open the box of Battle Masters and see what's inside. First of all, let's take a moment to admire the box art of the game. If there is anything that perfectly embodies what the experience of playing this game would be, it has to be this box art. Two enormous armies, a moment before clashing into a giant and glorious battle. It's a shame that this box has seen better days, but it's still holding itself together nonetheless. On the back of the box, we have an anticipation of what's going to be inside it, with all the pieces sorted out on a table. There are also some painted miniatures to provide an example of how you might want to paint them in a classical Games Workshop style. Alright, I can't wait anymore. Let's open the box. Another thing that I would like to point out is the instruction on the inside of the box, reminiscent of those you could find in the old HeroQuest box. Yes, I also have that one in my collection. But we're not talking about HeroQuest here. Let's go back to focusing on Battle Masters. Since this is a used game, the sprues and cardboard tiles are long gone, but all the pieces are here. First of all, the most important and iconic piece of the box, the battle mat. This is the board on which Battle Master would be played. A 55 by 57 inch vinyl playmat with a hexagon pattern printed on it. Let me tell you, it's huge. I mean, just look at it! It's huge! Since this game was published in 1992, the mat is not the most detailed one of its kind, also due to the repetitive pattern printed on it being caused by the very size of the mat. But this is the best they could do with the technology of the time. Overall, it has survived the test of time, and it's still an impressive and pretty cool battle mat. But what is a battle mat without an array of miniatures to be placed on and play with? The amount of miniatures in this box is enormous. Two factions are featured in this game. The forces of the Imperial Army, featuring 10 Imperial Archers, 15 men-at-arms, 5 crossbowmen, 9 Imperial Knights, 3 Lord Knights, and 1 cannon with 2 crewmen. The Chaos Army is composed of 10 Beastmen, 10 Warriors, 10 Chaos Archers, 10 Orcs, 10 Goblins, 6 Goblins Wolf Riders, 3 Champions of Chaos, and 1 Ogre Champion, for a grand total of 100 single miniatures. All the models had to be divided into units and then placed onto these green square bases with linear cracks, almost like soda bases, but without having to glue them on it. There was also a huge amount of stickers with the name of a specific unit that needed to be placed onto the green bases, and some on the shield of the model to add some details and colors to them. There were also some stickers that represented flags that had to be placed on the plastic banner poles to make it easier for the player to quickly identify all the different units. But the most impressive plastic kit of the box is the tower. A very old and simplistic piece of terrain, but yet incredibly cool and beautiful, that once placed on the battlefield alongside some tiny barriers added a lot of verticality and visual interest to the game. Some additional rules have been written specifically for the tower to make it so that a unit can conquer it or destroy it. There are also 4 large double-sided hexagon terrain tiles that are used to represent different terrain pieces on the board. To complete the box, there is a big pile of cardboard token divided into 50 skull tokens used to represent wounded units, 22 axe token used to represent elite units, 25 unit tokens and 3 rubble tokens used when someone managed to destroy the tower. Then there are 6 combat dice. These are very similar to the dice used in HeroQuest. Basically, every time a unit begins combat, the attacking player must throw a number of dice indicated on the base of the unit, and for every skull result, the unit has scored a hit. Then the defending player throw an amount of dice equal to the number on the unit's base, and every sheer result cancel a skull result. After a unit has sustained 3 wounds, it gets destroyed and removed from the game. But how do you actually manage to get your unit into the fight? To perform an action with your units, you simply draw a card from the battle card deck. I love these cards. The images printed on them are gorgeous. All the cards are mixed together, and every card represents a specific unit that can perform an action, either moving, fighting, or shooting in the case of a unit armed with bows, crossbow, and a cannon. Some cards can let you perform an action with multiple units or your entire army, and some will give your units a specific bonus, like performing an action twice or charging, adding additional combat dice when fighting. But some units behave differently on the battlefield, like the Ogre. When drawing an Ogre card, you'll then start drawing cards from the Ogre deck. There are 6 cards in this deck, and you have to draw them all. This means that the Ogre performs 6 actions in one single turn, making the Ogre one of the most dangerous and devastating units on the battlefield. And then there's the Cannon. Once you have drawn the Cannon card, you'll have to randomly pick a round cardboard cannon tile and place it on the field. By doing so, you'll have to draw the trajectory of the cannonball until you pick an explosion tile, and when placed on a unit, that unit is automatically destroyed. It reminds me of the mechanics of the scatter dice in Warhammer Fantasy Battle, and I think that the creators of the game had that specific mechanic in mind when writing rules for the cannon. And obviously, there's the instruction book, and inside you will find not only the rules of the game, but also a campaign system with 5 different scenarios to be played. This was the core box of Battlemaster, but we haven't finished yet, because after the game was published, 2 expansion boxes were released for the game, one for the Imperial Army and one for the Chaos Army.
And guess what I did? I have also bought the 2 expansions.
And the cool things about these 2 expansions is that these 2 boxes are new, completely new. Granted, this is open, but it's like it has never been touched. But this one, the Chaos Reinforcements box, it still have the plastic wrap on it, which is something extremely, I think, rare, almost unique. And so I think that no responsible collector, would tear the plastic wrap of the box, and therefore ruining the value of this box completely. Unfortunately, this box didn't provide any new scenarios, additional rules, or new models for the game, but rather more of the same miniatures from the original box to be added to your games. Specifically, 26 minis for the Imperial Army with an additional cannon, a single Lord Knight alongside 3 Imperial Knights, archers, men-at-arms, and crossbowmen. And 24 models for the Chaos Army, with 20 Beastmen, 2 Chaos Lords, and 2 Ogres. All with their respective stickers, of course. And so, my dear friends, this was Battle Masters, a game that was pretty simple, because, I mean, rule-wise you just draw some card, move your units, and then throw a couple of dice. Nothing too complicated, but I think that was precisely the point of this game, to let people experience what it means to battle with a huge army, and then move your first steps into this beautiful hobby of building and painting plastic miniatures. And I bet that for a lot of us, was exactly that brought us into the hobby, receiving a box with some models and decided that we might try to paint some of them. And I mean, in this box, with all of the models inside and also the examples on the back of the box, I think that you will be pretty inspired to actually try and do that. At least I would have done that. And I bet that it must have been a pretty amazing experience to be a kid in the 90s and receiving this box as a gift. But at least this was my experience. In the end of 2023, I had an amazing experience opening this box and look at all the pieces inside. And I can't wait to gather some of my friends and play this game for the very first time. And even though it's a very simple game, I bet that we will have a lot of fun playing with it. But please, write down in the comments what was your experience with this beautiful game, if you received it when you were a kid, and maybe as a gift, or, you know, you bought it somehow, and if you played with your friends, your parents, or your brothers and sisters, whatever. Let me know, because I really want to read all of those beautiful memories. And also, leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more videos in the future. And go down in the description, don't forget about that, because there is the link for the Jordan Saucer video about Battle Master. Go watch that. And also there are 2 links, one for my Instagram and one for my Patreon, if you want to support me. You don't have to, but if you want, I will be extremely grateful. And so, my friends, this is the end of the video, and I'm pretty sure that this is going to be the last video for 2023. I don't know if I'm going to publish the CMPJ tomorrow or maybe the day after, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that this is the last one, at least for 2023. So, my friends, I'm Corey, and I hope to see you the next time. Ciao, ciao.